Welcome back again today, friends. We are cooking huge, healthy meals for my large family from scratch for the next week. I'm going to share with you all this big Super Mega Mama cooking, plus a little bit of our fresh fruits and veggies shopping, some homestead gardening, new animal updates such as our new chicken tractors, other fun adventures happening here on our happy little homestead in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. And again, all the food, all the time. We are getting our sourdough going. We are doing homemade yogurt. We are using our gluten-free noodles to get going with some gluten-free big batch cooking and so many other adventures in today's video. Let's go. Welcome back again today, friends. I'm sure so mega much is going to happen. Next up, we're heading in to the John Henry General Store. And I do love our mountains here in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. When I go other places and come back, I'm like, oh, I missed you, mountains. So here's a look at what our local small town general store had on this day. They do get a lot of great bulk produce deals in, from one week to the next. It's not for certain exactly what they'll have, but I do love to stock up on the variety of things they have. A lot of things are very seasonal, and there's some blueberries there. We do make some great purchases here on this day. Now there's something, pink pineapple. Interesting, we could try it. Cantaloupe, avocados, peppers, beets, garlic scapes, we know those. We got a whole case of squash or zucchini for $9.99. And I do get 2 of these big heads of cabbage here. And we get our milk here on this day. This was the day where they had several gallons marked down for 50% off. And so, yes, we helped them with that deal. We didn't actually end up freezing any of that. We do run through milk very quickly. Okay, so all of their Pure and Holy A2 milk is 50% off. Not all of it, but everything that has a date of today. And I can freeze it, and that's a fantastic savings. So, back home, we did a little bit of running around and errands. What I got at John Henry and an Azure order that's been taking up room on my table. I'm gonna film y'all a separate, not going to the grocery store, grocery haul. I have been out of town. I was out of state it was 4 days, but then I was sick. The kids were sick a week ago. Whatever they had passed on to me. My little Instant Pot is now done with its pressure. They shared, and so I was pretty sick on the way, just like cold sinus head stuff. So I stayed at a hotel by the airport ended up being 2 nights. I got in from the airport like 1 a.m. and I thought, I'm not driving anywhere. So I had already booked the hotel when I was at one of the airports. The shuttle came and got me. It was so nice because I was not feeling well. Got there, slept. Anyway, I ended up spending a day and a half extra before I drove back home because this airport's about an hour and a half or so away from me. It all worked out. So today was our big recuperating day. And so while I was gone, everybody ate. They knocked out the last of those freezer meals. I don't think we have 1 freezer meal left. Can you believe that? So I got a great big, like 5.5 pound grass-fed, like I like to say, Pure and Holy roast this morning. I put that in the slow cooker. I could probably unplug that by now. So that is dinner. And I had 2 bags of wild rice. So I cooked those in the Instant Pot, and I used 4 jars. I have the jar opening proof, 4 jars of our home canned beef broth that we had made several months ago. So I used those when I made this rice. And actually, it's really good. We've been working through, as I shared with you, so many things in the freezer. And it's just perfect timing, perfect timing. It's kind of like I've been planning this and doing it on purpose. So as we've been eating things down in the freezers, we are making room for so many things that we're gonna harvest. I just noticed there's something spilled. Oh, I think that's from, okay, my Instant Pot. This little regulator there, whatever, the little plastic thingy that sits there and collects all the liquid went all over there. And I also have this kombucha bottle. I had poured it out. It got 2 flies in there. Maybe that's my new fly catching method. So we got a mess here. You guys have probably already seen those deals now already, but it was a whole like 8, 9, 10 pound flat of strawberries marked down to 99 cents. They're not always marked down that low, and there will be a few overripe strawberries in those packs, but we're going to pick out the ones that are gonna go for the chickens and the pigs, and then we will use the rest for our family. So we have our roast, we have our rice, and then I think we'll have strawberries with it, because I'm also out of, we've been working through the fruit and veggie freezer, so I don't have any frozen veggies right now. I do have some canned veggies, but I think we'll just pretty much have meat and rice and then strawberries on the side. And so I'm just taking a few minutes here before I get going with dinner on this evening and getting some things rinsed out and washed up. I don't know if you all can notice or not yet, but we have our lights fixed. While I was gone, I asked for 2 things. I said, could you please fix these lights for me? That is done. And I asked, could we please get the shower, the towel holders hung up in my new bathroom? Tobin's excited. That was done. So there's good things to come home to. We have, oh no, so I told you, it's about a 5.5 pound roast. I feel like we have about 2 pounds left. So I go ahead and take out the 2 pounds that we have left, and we do use that for meals the following day. It made a nice gravy, a broth with it, and it was absolutely delicious over our brown rice. And the strawberries, let me tell you, no problem with eating those up. I have gotten some questions whenever I shared the strawberries in the Azure order. Folks were asking what we did with all those strawberries, and honestly, we just used them for fresh eating, and within a couple days they were totally gone. As I mentioned, we had any smushy ones or any that got a little mold on it. Those went to the pigs and chickens, but for the most part we ate them. Good morning. It is oatmeal time. I will make a big batch and we will have oatmeal for the next few days. While I was getting ready, hello Amazon dress, I had this water boiling. Now with my old-fashioned oats, I will just pour these in my little Rubbermaid container, pour the water on it, let it soak for a few minutes while I get other oatmeal additions ready, and then that'll be breakfast. And so how I do while I was busy doing other things on this morning, I just boiled a pot of water, and then I pour that directly into one of my Rubbermaid containers there with the old-fashioned oats, and I just put the lid on it, and of course I'm gonna stir it a little bit, but put the lid on it and then just let it sit for a few minutes. And then the way that we do it these days in our family, I used to add all the ingredients to it to make a delicious oatmeal, but now I just let each person make their own individual bowls how they would like. You know, some use organic cane sugar, some use monk fruit or another sweetener, some want just different toppings. So for the most part, I leave the sweeteners off. I am adding just a little bit of that A2 milk that we had from that bottle from Azure to add a little creaminess, but you know, some like a little butter, some like some Greek yogurt, so many different ways to make. Oh, and we have a lot of people here who like applesauce on it. So anyway, that's how the oatmeal configurations go down. And so I am working on right now just taking my mama turn with the dishes. And so on this day, we are getting ready for our big fun lake day out, only we have been in a heavy time with so much rain. It seems like all day, every day for almost 2 weeks now. And so I have kids getting ready for our day out, but we have planned things where if we're interrupted by rain, it's okay. So we knew it wouldn't be an all-on lake day, but we're going to do some hiking and go get some ice cream and probably still end up at the lake. We will see, but it's not going to be for the all-day in the sunshine swim all day event. So while I'm working on all these dishes and doing my mama things here, the kids are cleaning out the van, also getting some different things loaded in the van that we would want, getting some lunch packed or lunch items. Believe me, even though you only see me here doing dishes, everybody's running around getting other things done so we can go for the day. We're doing this real cool trail, doing actually several trails today. Just having a fun day out, airing out. Lots of fun adventures going on. This is this little water gathering spot. So we just finished our second trail and now we're gonna go get ice cream because we know what's good. Ice cream. Okay, I don't know if I can see through the blinded sun. We have a whole week of just pockets of rain all week. There's not even any lifeguards here at the beach today. When we came, we brought fishing stuff. We've already done 2 other hiking trails, other side of our valley here. And then we came to the lake figuring, I mean, even sprinkling, I knew we could fish. It's not like lightning storms, but it just wasn't gonna be swimming weather. So when we got here though, the sun was shining and we have been swimming. Half have been swimming, half have been fishing. Then I've got 2 that are hiking around the lake here. So it's turning out to be a super day. And we didn't even bring all our regular lake stuff, but we have found a bucket and a shovel. We've been in the water swimming, haven't we? And I went swimming with a toddler, even in my dress. Yes. So nice. So we got some pants going on here, but you still swim. So now that we are out of the water and we are drying off a bit, we're having a little more sand time. And so we did pack lunch items just for a real quick back of the van lunch. Now our actual lunchtime food was Baskin-Robbins ice cream on this day because, hey, that's fun. Everyone got a big old like double scoop on a waffle cone or big cups, just whatever they wanted at Baskin-Robbins. So that was, we'll say, our noontime meal. But now it's about 4 or so because I had a live conference recording I had to do on this evening. That was my big work thing for this day besides my filming. And so I wanted to go ahead and leave early, but you see we brought the kayak, we brought the fishing gear, lots of fun on this all day hiking and doing all the things. But in the back of the van, I made just simple peanut butter and jelly tortillas because we still have a stack of store-bought tortillas. And then we brought our freeze-dried apples and the kids ate those on the way home. Now, it took us a little over an hour to get home. So when we got home a little after 5, the kids did some other jobs around the house and property, and I worked on heating up leftovers for dinner. My conference interview was supposed to be at 6, so I had to just keep on moving. And if only Mama in real life could work this fast, but I just microwaved everybody's grass-fed, grass-finished beef roast there and the rice, and chopped up different little strawberry cups and gave them the A2A2 milk. And that was dinner. On this evening, I washed the strawberries. We got some of the tops chopped off. But again, pigs and poultry, we have no life problems with leftovers. Someone asked me yesterday on TikTok if we compost our fruit and veggie scraps. And I'm like, no way, no way, because we feed our animals many treats with these, and everybody loves strawberries. This is just some of the ways that we used up that big haul of strawberries, was by serving them alongside many of our meals. And we did get a few strawberries off our strawberry plants this year, but nothing like that. I must need like 1,000 more. And so here I am. I'm doing the hands-on homesteading conference with my friend Jamie Balmain. She has a lot of wonderful speakers, and I am sharing my experience about slowly building the grocery store in my basement and our current homesteading goals and the changes we're making and our slow and steady homesteading journey. So if you are interested in that, I will leave a link to the conference down in the description below. I know Jill Wagner from, or is it Winger? Jill from the Prairie Homestead is speaking. Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead is speaking. So many wonderful ladies who have such a vast knowledge base are sharing at this conference. And my experience and my knowledge base is I'm sharing this journey as I'm walking it out to get where I want to be one day, right? But I'm sharing the process. Having a bedtime bowl of soup, you know? Just wasn't sure what I wanted to eat. This is what Mom was gonna eat. I'm gonna go eat my soup and get ready for bed. I'm still reading through A Woman of No Importance. I got quite a bit, made some good progress on it last week when I went out of town for several days. But been home for 2 days. Haven't gotten any mama reading time in. So hopeful that tonight's gonna be my night to get a few more pages done. And so now on this morning, I just knew that my toasters needed a good cleaning out. And of course, I removed the little bottom trays, but there were so many little, you know, bits of bagel and life and bread products in there that I just had to do the Mama's gonna shake it over the sink cleaning method, and that works well. I also cleaned out those little heat resistant pads that I put under them, and yeah, just made them all fresh. I know several people have mentioned to me that for my gluten-free folks in my household, I will need another toaster and another bread machine. And yes, I definitely hear that. And that is on my mama to-do list. It is hard, almost impossible to do everything at once. But we are definitely making baby steps and doing the next thing. Here I am. In this afternoon, I had a gluten-free family member who was trying out some gluten-free pancake mix, and they were having trouble just with their pancakes and with the consistency and flipping them and knowing when to flip them. I was just helping them out there. They batch cook themselves their own little container of their gluten-free pancakes. All right, so I'm going to film a great big super mega massive grocery haul here. This is the next thing going on today. I really wanted to film a garden tour too. It's just raining right now, and it's supposed to rain at different segments every day this week. So I'm hoping it clears up a bit. But I'll also show you, again, I mean, I know the rain's wonderful for the garden. It's just, every day. Both of my new chicken tractors came. So we have our chickens now. I think I've shown you already. We followed some internet advice and turned our old trampoline into a chicken tractor, and those birds have been in there for about 2 weeks. That has been working fantastic. I have a lot of birds though in process at different stages, a lot coming. So these two will be for raising out different meat birds. I'll take you over there here shortly. But everything's looking, well, of course, cloudy in the sky, but nice and green and fresh all around in all the gardens. And so here I just did a big clean out and freshen up on the big Mega Mama refrigerator here. Went through the different leftovers that we had, went through some little odds and ends here. And so just going through and doing all the Mama refreshes. Again, I was gone several days and I'm still in my getting my bearings, being back home, even when a mom just leaves for, you know, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. You come home and you gotta have a re-entry period. And so everyone did just fine and super while I was gone, but they didn't have a mom, right? And so I'm just going through and hitting the high points with my mama eyes, kind of pulling this shit back together. Now, what I'm doing for dinner tonight, because, you know, I'm also working through using up different store-bought things that we've had in our freezers. And something we've had in our freezers for a little bit have been those Philly cheesesteak cuts. And so I was like, okay, we are going to do Philly cheesesteak sandwiches tonight. And I am cooking them in some bacon grease. And then I am topping them once they're done cooking with the provolone that Travis had sliced a few days before. And so I'm able to fit about 4 of the little cooked meat packs there on a plate. No, Travis didn't slice that cheese the day before. This was the day he was slicing the cheese. So we do have a couple big blocks of cheese from Azure, and this is the night that he is going through and getting those ready for me. So it was me doing these steak sandwiches that inspired, like, oh, wait a minute, I need cheese. And so we're going through here now and chopping all that up. So it was super helpful for him to do all this bulk cheese, and we used this with several more big batch cooking meals that we're going to be doing in this video, and several other dinners. It was very helpful to have it all bulk cut up. So he used to do this, so we're just going to get back in the habits now, right? He's going to go through and probably, I don't know, maybe once a week, Travis is going to do a big bulk cheese processing for us, and we appreciate that. We are just having a little bedtime story out here. Been reading through our books. And then we have our whole counter with several of these jars here with our chocolate chips from Azure. We just had a few at bedtime. We don't mind. So here I am rolling through and I am peeling eggs. That was something else I got done on this evening, is I bulk cooked up a couple dozen hard-boiled eggs for us. And so on this evening, I actually have several kids that have hard-boiled eggs as bedtime snacks. And then we have some eggs prepped for the coming days. It ends up being about 3 days of eggs for us. And my kids will eat them hot, my kids will eat them cold. They have learned to not reheat them in the microwave. But it's just a nice little protein-filled snack for hungry kiddos and a hungry mama. A good, cheap food that we have producing on our property that we can have ready to go in the refrigerator. And now on this next day, I have some of my good friends, 13 years in the making. I have some of her sourdough starter. And I have been, it's been on my list. I've gotten a starter going several times, but I just haven't progressed any further than getting a live active starter. I kind of lose it at some point a couple weeks in and never actually get using my sourdough starter. So I thought if I could get a little bit from my friend, then I can just go from there. Like the next day I can start using this starter and not give myself too much time to think about it. So I have several food goals coming up. I want to get doing sourdough pretty much on a daily basis. I want to continue to learn and grow in fermenting foods. Of course, we're going to be doing a lot of canning and using our Harvest Right freeze dryer and preserving in different ways. But my next focus right now is to get actively doing sourdough bread every day in our house. So we are no longer relying on store-bought bread, but I have a nice, healthy, fermented bread for our tummies and for our situations in our home. So I was going to do the gluten-free sourdough starter as well, but I don't have any gluten-free flour. So this is a moment. Guess what I'm doing? I don't have any and I need it. So I did put in a Walmart grocery pickup order for 3 of the King Authors gluten-free flour, because for my gluten-free folks, I would also like to get making bread that's gluten-free for them as well. And well, I need flour to do that. So I will look to see what Azure has as far as a big bulk order for that next month. I know there's other flours that can be made, and there's a whole lot of options in life, but I at least got my pure and holy, tried and true, well-tested, good friends sourdough starter going, so we can get going with that as well. We have a little Greek yogurt going down with some of our yummy bulk chocolate chips. Yum. So we've got a break in the rain for a little bit. Again, first week of summer, hello all the rain, and now it's cool outside. It was hot this morning when we were doing all our animal jobs, but I want to show you my new chicken tractors. So here it is. So exciting, and I'm hoping to get a couple years out of it. These were, I believe, $6.50 each. A big investment, but a nice chicken tractor. The tarp's removable. It has wheels on the back. You pull it forward. Travis said that, and we've got another one over there. He said that each of these he thinks is about $350, $400 in supplies, and then we had the labor to put it together plus delivery. So I'm happy with them. They're going to be very useful for all my enterprises I have going down. And again, these particular meat birds here are in our fun little trampoline tractor, and that's been working out really nice too. I was just thinking, so we moved them yesterday, and I thought this morning we'll move them onto fresh grass tomorrow. I have birds that are brooding or birds that are coming that will also get put in these. And we have, I mean, all this space I'm showing you we have is movable space. We have this whole area to move them. Lots of grass and area, even if I was just gonna work them here. I also had planned to, you know, this area going down behind the house. And of course we have the garden area, and then there's whole sections. There's land over here, whole big grassy area there. 7 acres here. Car on jack stands, so yeehaw for that, country living. But there's the tractors, and I guess, hey, let's go in one. And that's one of the things I liked about it. The tractors I've had so far, like the trampoline tractor, it's a small door you gotta crawl in, and then the last couple years that I've used this zip tie dome, you gotta bend to get in. And I thought for something different, hey, this is nice, just walk on in here. So each one is supposed to be the right square footage size for 53 birds, and I got 2 so we would have lots of space and options. We had these made. Someone asked me where we got them exactly. Facebook Marketplace. I was just looking at chicken things, chicken equipment, and someone's ad popped up. So they were out of Charlottesville, Virginia, and they made them. I could pick whether I wanted the blue color on the wood, it is pressure treated, or a white, and so I chose the blue. I thought that would be fun and cottagey, even though I don't have a cottage vibe going on. The blue is something. And they delivered them to us, dropped it off, they put the tarp on with zip ties, and there you go, chicken mobility. And although I realized let me fix my hair, got a little crooked curly top there. Anyway, so my plan was not necessarily to have my laying hens in these. You know, my laying hens have acre that's fenced to free range in, but there will be times during different ages and stages, like if I put pullets in my big free range yard area up into a certain point, they can easily get out. So there will be reasons and seasons that we use these for a variety of birds, but mainly I'm looking at for the meat that we're raising. But with the rain, here is how the garden is looking. I wanted to take some time to work on tying up my different indeterminate tomatoes here that just need to be tied up. This is the time. And already while I'm recording this voiceover, I'm like, man, the garden looks so small. And what I mean is plant growth wise, because while I'm recording this, we've had another week of rain. So everything, just what you see here, picture it doubled again in size. I'm definitely going to do a July garden update video for all of you to tour you through how things are growing and where I've been succession planting and just how it's all working out. But on this day, I wanted to take whatever time I could in the garden because we had all the rain. My new favorite garden tool is this stirrup hoe. So I learned about it from my friend Jessica at Three Rivers Homestead, and the long handle detaches, and it's has a short handle for me to actually just if I want to squat down and use it in my raised beds. But I also like using it like a vacuum. And so I'm able to put the long handle on it and get in between plants and go after grass and other things that are popping up, especially with the rain. I asked one of my kiddos to bring me what I usually wear as my barn shoes. I'm out here in my new going out black Birkenstocks. I didn't really, you end up gardening and farming in all your good shoes. So thank you, sweetie. If you could bring those to me. I see. You got a lot of good stuff going on. Bring me the other one. So this is how they arrived to me. The kiddo was wearing these shoes. So then they put on the chicken boot because you had your hands full. I love it. I love it. This is great. Okay, I'm going to give you your shoes back. Very creative, and that way you could still carry your toys. And bring me my shoes. Now, can you take my nice going out shoes, haha, my summer sandals, just put those by the kitchen door for me. I'll do that. You know, if you garden or farm, all of a sudden you'll be in the shoes that you weren't going to garden or farm in. Yeah, I feel like it's some homesteading mama joke. Like, can I have a pair of going out shoes that I have not chased a goat in or been through compost in or whatever? So my new summer sandals got christened in this gardening time, but that's okay. I did swap it out for my chicken boots, and I was joking over on Instagram that I loved this dress. So all of my new summer dresses were actually very affordably priced, and they just did so well for me. I think I've ordered like maybe 7 or 8, and I think I had one that was just totally the wrong size. Everything else was all my hopes and dreams. So everything is linked over at amazon.com/shop/Jamerrill for those of you who have been asking me about where I've picked up my recent dresses for this summer. That's my mama summer wardrobe uniform. But anyway, I felt so beautiful in this dress. I did. It's a gorgeous dress. And when I look at myself gardening, I laugh and I'm like, well, Granny's in the garden. But that's okay. I say this to you as a friend. If we were joking over coffee, these are the jokes I would be telling you, okay? It doesn't matter though how I look in the dress because I felt good in it, and I'll wear it again, and it was nice, and it was a nice cool fabric to garden in. So happy evening. Mama is pajama ready, pajama mama already. I worked for hours in that garden. We had a nice long afternoon out there. I'm inside now. I'm going to pull dinner together, and we got talking milk jugs. So I'm also the kids for our homemade yogurt over here. So many projects. You want projects? We got them going down. But I wanted to get this yogurt going in the Instant Pot. Now, basically by morning, it'll be done. There is, in about an hour, a little bit of fussing I got to do with it. Not too much though. And we'll go from there. And I'm gonna do those gluten-free lasagnas tonight. And I had a happy helper cook up the 5 pounds of ground beef from the ground beef that we purchased recently from a local farm, and we're going to use that in the lasagnas tonight. I am planning, hopes and dreams, to do a dedicated cooking food project video tomorrow, and then a big freezer cooking day video. So basically the next 2 days, it is Thursday now, hello days of the week, the next 2 days. So many different Mega Mama noodle party items I would like to make right now, but I'm just trying to get, like I said, these gluten-free noodles done. Let's see what I got going on over here. So these are the gluten-free noodles I had gotten in my Azure order. Do the no boil method with those. I have 5 jars of my home jarred sauce, but I do still continue to work through my tomato products that I also have in my grocery store in my basement, right? So I'm just gonna mix in 2 cans of diced tomatoes, and then I don't have any ricotta. We do have all of that cheese that Travis shredded last night, so we're good on cheese. I was going to use, I'm probably going to end up mixing, maybe just mixing sour cream and cottage cheese together. We'll see how the inspiration strikes. But I did bring up, apparently I ordered 3 containers of sour cream. So I was like, well, use those up. Although I should see, I think I actually have some store-bought sour cream in my fridge. So I'm gonna go check that out. And I have some basil that I had freeze-dried from last fall, I believe. So we'll just blend that up and use that too. And this basil turned out just absolutely delightful in this dish. And one of my other new goals I want to be purposeful about this summer is making sure that I am preserving and creating, making my own herbs and spices as much as possible. So I am using some roasted garlic from my recent Azure order here in the Mega Mama bowl, working on making my spaghetti sauce, my pasta sauce for the lasagna. And so I used the last of my jars of my home canned tomatoes that we did this spring. We did it. And then I had to fill in with several cans of Great Value just plain sauce, which is fine, because again, my goal is to continue to, oh yeah, Mama's got to have a swig of Zevia there, to work in and rotate through all of my canned goods I have stocked up on, and then replace them with my own home canned items. And eventually we will be through this transition. You know, will it take a year? Will it take 2 years? But eventually you'll come to my channel and everything as much as possible, right? Maybe we'll get to 90% self-sufficiency. I'm not sure as far as food goes, but as much as possible for feeding this whole big crew of people will be provided for and processed and here ready to go on our little homestead here in the mountains of Virginia. And I am working through just using, so you're going to continue to see, you know, great value canned goods or store-bought tortillas or those kind of things as I work through mixing these in and using them up. But we'll get there. It's baby steps. I've had a lot of great questions lately, like, what am I going to do about toiletries? And toiletries, for instance, are not my main focus. My main focus right now is food. I want to buy locally, fill in bigger items when I absolutely need to through Azure. You know, shop at local farms, farmers markets, maybe even go to the produce auction if we need to. I want to grow and raise and process as much as we can on our own homestead and get out of going to the big bulk stores. And I have a lot of reasons for that. And again, I will share my No More Grocery Store, the makings of radical change, in the description if you're interested in watching all my thoughts and feelings on it. So as far as toiletries, you know, I do try to be to have 2 to 3 months worth of household and bathroom items in my downstairs bathroom pantry, as I call it, where I have dish soap and shampoo and conditioner and diapers and baby wipes and Epsom salt, and what else do I have? Disposable napkins, different cleaning products and such. I am not stocked up for a year of those items. We definitely, you know, toilet paper at the most for many of those items. I just have maybe 3 months when I think of shampoo and conditioner. We just roll through things, right? Because they're consumable and we are a big household. There's not just one person or 2 people or even 5 people here, you know, it's at least twice that. And so these are all products we use and consume. So we don't eat those though. So my focus and my energy is going into the big, homegrown, locally sourced food transition. So when I need diapers, when I need wipes, when I need toilet paper, when we need shampoo and conditioner, I'm not being legalistic about this. This is my own personal challenge. And getting my family's food switched around and squared away is one of my very, very top priorities. I don't care where the baby diapers are coming from right now. So the baby diapers and those kind of things, and actually we will be transitioning out of those here soon before you know it. So anyway, those items I will just do a big order on, maybe once a quarter. I don't know. Am I going to get them on Amazon? Am I going to use Walmart.com and have it all brought to my door? For the household toiletry items, that's where those things will come. I've gotten a few questions on where those items will come from. And, you know, I very well may get to a point once I accomplish my first big goal that then I'll work on household items and those kind of things. But I don't see how anyone can make huge, massive changes all in one fell swoop. Just snap our fingers and they're all done. It doesn't work that way for any human. So right now, my focus is having as organic as possible, locally sourced or personally raised on our farm food products, and switching everything out in that direction. And the toilet paper and the baby diapers are just gonna show up at the door once a quarter, but I'm still staying out of even going into the big stores to shop for those things, where then I might be tempted to buy some other things while I'm there. It's just gonna show up and get put away, and I'm going to can my tomatoes. Yay. Nothing to see here, just went to unroll some foil, and the foil unrolled on me. It knows that Mama is tired. Oh, and so now I'm working through doing my layers. I am not pre-cooking these gluten-free noodles. I am just putting them on uncooked, and I'm doing a layer of my cheese sauce and a layer of the cheese that Travis sliced, and then I'm doing the meat sauce and another layer of the gluten-free noodles, which cook up absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. Another layer of the cheese, and then just topping it with a little more sauce, a little more cheese sauce, and getting it done like that. I do cover them in some foil, and we get them in the baby oven. I have also been asked about if my big oven is fixed yet, and no Z-Line Kitchens, it is not. Okay, the grand finale. So I was able to get one 10 by 15 for the freezer and one 9 by 13 for the freezer. And then we have our two 10 by 15s that are in here. I need to take their foil off of them and tent them and leave them in for about 10 more minutes or so. And this is dinner for tonight, probably lunch tomorrow, and we'll see if it stretches to dinner tomorrow night. We're doing things. And so Travis has dealt with Z-Line. We have heard back from them. He sent them pictures. It's been a whole thing, and has talked with them. But they sent us the part, and we have that. And so now we're waiting for their approved technician to come out and actually do the repairs on the stove that are needed. So I will be back in the business of 2 ovens. But good thing, you know, we've been training for this. We cooked in that baby oven in the baby kitchen for 3 years. So being back down to just one oven, one small oven, we can handle this. All right, so there is one out of the oven, and I moved this one to the top just to darken up the top a bit. I have been laying on my floor, stretching my back, waiting for the lasagnas. So hopefully this summer, Z-Line will get a technician out here, and we will be back in the double oven business. And so here I am now stirring up my yogurt. Yes, my new shirt, also on Amazon, easily distracted by cows. Pretty funny. And so I have made homemade yogurt for years and years and years, but I have not done a lot of homemade yogurt, I'll say in the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, I've done it once in a while, but just haven't really put the time into it. Now back in the farmhouse, probably, I'm thinking 15 years ago now, I made homemade yogurt in the slow cooker every week, twice a week for my young kiddos there. And then, of course, once Instant Pots became a thing, at the Forest House, I did quite a bit of yogurt in the Instant Pot, but haven't done it in a while. So anyway, I had to get my straining system down, and what I finally decided to do was to just use a mesh strainer lined with cheesecloth and then dump it all in that way. We'll get better at this, right? But I wanted to get all the way off of it because that is great for smoothies, and I wanted a thicker Greek yogurt consistency. So I do a gallon of milk at a time in my Instant Pot. And since these are half-gallon jugs here from Azure and also from John Henry, I'm mixing them up here. I'm using a couple of those in my Instant Pot to do another batch of yogurt. I wanted to, and there I am scraping the cream out also. I wanted to get in a routine where we have the processed gallon of yogurt in the refrigerator, and then we have another gallon in the works. Okay, so I have 2 half cups here of my sourdough starter that we grew. Yay. We are going to do the process of 2 homemade sourdough breads. And as I have shared, my friend Lisa from Farmhouse on Boone is a sourdough expert. So when you have a friend that's a sourdough expert, you just need to do whatever they tell you. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing what Lisa tells me. And this is our 2nd gallon of yogurt, because like I say, my kids put the whole gallon yesterday. So here shortly we'll add in our few more spoonfuls of yogurt, and then we will let this do its 8-hour yogurt cycle. This is the 2nd gallon. The 1st gallon is over in the fridge draining still. And then I got a local meat deal from a friend that I could not pass up. So local friends of ours, they process a couple cows a year, and then they take what they need for their family, and then they will sell extra cuts to friends and family. So, you know, I stocked up recently on 120 pounds of grass-raised, grass-finished beef. And that meat came in just a little under $9 a pound, which is a great price for grass-fed, grass-finished beef. However, my friend that was selling this meat, and again, it's not like I can't rely to always get meat from them, but whenever they have these deals, I'm like, oh yes, I'll take whatever you will sell me. So I was able to get grass-fed, grass-finished beef from their family cow. No funny business whatsoever, for $5 a pound. So I got 50 pounds from her to add to our freezer, because ground beef is something that we roll through, and when I can get grass-fed, grass-finished beef for $5 a pound, yeah. I asked her for more than 50 pounds, but this is all she had for me. And then they also threw in a rump roast for us, which was very nice, very nice. And so now I'm going through the process of making my first 2, I just call them artisan loaves of sourdough bread. I knew that 1 would not be enough, but I was thinking that if I could do at least 2 of those a day, I mean, that would at least be enough for, you know, lunch sandwiches and any other items we might need some sandwich bread for. I know these are not sandwich loaves, but we can slice them down with a bread knife. Of course, it does make for thicker slices, but I was thinking even with the thicker slices of the sourdough, pretty artisan bread, that even 1 thick slice could be chopped in 2 to make a nice wholesome sandwich like that you would get at a fancy sandwich shop, only you're getting it in my Mega Mama kitchen. Okay, so now I'm going to the bread in our Lisa Farmhouse on Boone tutorial is going to sit for 30 minutes. I could not just do 1 loaf though. I was like, oh no, if I'm going to work this into my routine, I want to do 2. Gotta start somewhere, and then we'll go from there. So, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to get a spoon. Wash my hands. I'll do that in a minute too. Today I was going to have my first of 2 dedicated cooking days. It just wasn't quite feeling right we got a parade tonight and other things going on. Anyway, even though I'm doing kitchen projects, I couldn't do a dedicated like 8 to 12 hour filming kitchen projects. I've been out with the cow this morning. Travis went and picked up that additional meat, and done mom things, kid things, bubble bath things, all the things that need done. I'm just filming my snippets. You're with me, you got it. Anyway, felt like I needed to update you on that, because last night when we were doing the lasagna, I was like, I'm gonna have 2 dedicated cooking days for dedicated videos, but it's gonna have to be 1. But it's gonna have to be 1, and that is cool. So I'm going to add a few spoonfuls in. Basically, I think what I'm trying to share here is, in order for me to have the truly dedicated cooking days, there's a lot of prep work I have to do for myself and life. And I decided, instead of doing all that to try to get cooking today, we're just gonna have regular old day. There you go. And then I need to get my planning and stuff in place for tomorrow. So I know in my recipe over on the blog I talk about a cup of starter. I've also read and heard other people say they just do a couple spoonfuls, so somewhere in between there. And so my plan is to keep up with our yogurt consumption. And I don't know. I don't know if my kids are gonna really always be a gallon a day yogurt eaters, or if, you know, that's gonna ebb and flow how things tend to do. But woo, that's why I wanted to do a total of 2 gallons of milk. This is done draining. It looks like it's drained all the way off. If I let it sit for several more hours, a little bit more might come off, but it looks like enough there. And I had told them that we would do smoothies this afternoon, but I really think it could be potentially that I need to do a gallon, basically always have a gallon to 2 gallons of yogurt going for all the things we use yogurt for, which just means this Instant Pot is gonna go back to living on the counter. Okay, yogurt. So that's it. And it's not gonna build up pressure or anything. The lid just keeps my farm flies out of it. So, well, there's still some more coming out. This is very... And so that yogurt works out wonderful, and I had to decide again, okay, what container am I keeping this in the refrigerator? So I just used one of my glass bowls there, and my kids have been loving putting some of the Azure cane sugar on their little bowls of yogurt, and then of course, who would not love some chocolate chips to go with that? So the big question has been, what am I going to do with all these bulk spices that I bought? So I go through and I label various jars that I have. I do have these I had got at Walmart, and I had them ready and waiting to go. And so I have some different jars that I had bought for pantry items. Also, some of these I got from Amazon at different times. And so those have been waiting for me to do projects with. And I get my label maker out and I make my labels for my spices. Now, spoiler alert coming up, I run out of my label maker ribbon there, and I just end up writing on my jars with my permanent marker, and that's okay too. And I just go through and put everything in these big jars, and that's how we're going to store things. I do end up taking everything out of my little odd rotating cabinet, you know, the little corner cabinet everyone has in the kitchen, and that's where we're going to keep everything. I'm going through now and straining this 2nd gallon of yogurt. And so we will be back in the homemade yogurt business. My starter was just a few spoonfuls from that, the Blue Nancy's probiotic Greek yogurt that I got from Azure. That's what I've just been using as my starter. And every time I make another pot of yogurt, I just save back a little bit in a container, and I will use that as my starter as I continue going forward. And so here we are now back at the spices, and yeah, it's a lot, but I use a lot. I mean, I measure in tablespoons, not teaspoons, whenever I'm cooking my Mega Mama meals. And so I just had various odds and ends in this little corner cabinet. And so now it'll just be our bulk spice cabinet where we keep everything in the jars ready to go. And so then we fill the bottom of the cabinet also, and we're just ready to go. We're ready to get cooking with all of our big bulk spices. And so now another day, and we are going to use a bunch of that way, and we are making a bunch of homemade smoothies. Now this is the last of what's left with all those strawberries. And so some of them are softer, but they definitely are still edible, and we use this on our smoothie making time. I also am doing my final folds there on my sourdough dough that has been ready and fermenting and liking it. And so I do my little final stretches there, and I cover them in plastic wrap, and I get those in the refrigerator to sit for basically until the following day when I'm going to bake them. And since I have those 2 loaves in the refrigerator ready to go, I am now getting my next 2 loaves to go through the process, and I am just using my friend Lisa, again Lisa from Farmhouse on Boone. I'm using her beginner sourdough bread recipe where she just guides me through, thank you Lisa, step by step, holds my hand. I just have the tab open on my laptop there in my kitchen, and I just refer back to it. So I'm following Lisa's step-by-step directions, but really what has helped me is having not having to think so much about my starter and not let it be, you know, a week or two process getting this great starter going. I was able to just overnight activate and get my friend's starter going, and the next day just start out with these sourdough baking tutorials that Lisa has. So here I really get this bread going. Now from the future, I can tell you I've been able to continue to do 2 to 3 of these loaves a day. And new coming up, you will see I've moved on to doing the sourdough pizza. So I will link Lisa's recipes down in the description below if you would like to cook with me and be inspired. So thank you, friends, for hanging out with me today and watching this cooking huge healthy meals for my large family from scratch. We are just continuing to go down this homegrown path as much as possible. I've always wanted to go all the way in. Right? I always wanted to jump into the deep end of the pool, and doing my No More Grocery Store challenge is just helping me get there. Really, it's been over 15 years since I started with my chickens. You know, chickens are the entry animal, the gateway animal, they say, to homesteading. And I've been raising chickens for a while. This will be my 4th year leading the processing of the poultry on our property, and we're just growing in new skills. And I don't know how to make the official jump to, you know, be in this hook, line, and sinker, other than to just challenge myself to not go into Costco, not go into Walmart, not go to these big stores and buy everything food-wise that we need from there. I am shopping at my local little farm stores. And again, I know I did a recent big, huge, massive, mega haul from Azure, plus I stocked up more on grass-fed, grass-finished ground beef, but I do not plan to do that every month. Every month there will be a couple $100s. I'm not even giving myself an amount it has to be, meaning one month I might spend $400, the next month maybe it's going to be $700. And then there's going to be times where, you know, it might be $2,000 if I'm stocking up on something, particularly meat-wise, that we have not been able to grow or produce here, or when there's other things I need to do bulk orders for. But my vision, you can click the video link in the description to hear all my deep thoughts and feelings over coffee that have been brewing about it. But my vision is to get to the point where I'm not even filling in little things each month, that I can get to more of a quarterly stock up from different resources. And then after I can hit the quarterly goal, maybe it could be, you know, twice a year. But I can't go from big in-store shopping to only obtaining extra food items off of the property twice a year overnight. Like we know what the first challenge is, and so you're going to be hearing a lot about it. And thank you for walking through this with me. I'm excited that we're doing it. So thank you so much for following along with me on my No More Grocery Store journey and cooking all these huge healthy meals for my large family from scratch. And again, things can only get better from here. I'll see you real soon with another brand new video. Bye-bye.